Hi, my name's Carrie Waltz. I share tips, tools, and techniques for the artist in you, and today I'm going to review some of the things I took to Italy for painting, gouache, and watercolor, and why I'm so glad that I planned the way I did. I traveled carry-on, so I had to be careful of how much liquids I took and the weight. See if it gives you some ideas on how to travel light. Let me know if there's anything that I share with you that you would have never thought to bring. I bet there's at least one. If you followed me before last week, I showed you what I carried in this bag. It's what my art supplies were. It's so I can leave it on my shoulder. I can unzip this large opening and I can have access to all that I need for watercolor. Now, if I'm painting gouache, I'm going to take it off my shoulder and put it somewhere else. Let me start by saying I brought a stool. Can you believe it? Most of my friends couldn't believe it. This is a little over 1 pound. But I'm so glad I brought it because having a stool allows me to sit down wherever I want to. I don't have to worry about taking somebody's table at a restaurant. I don't have to worry about is the ground muddy or wet. So I just enjoyed carrying it with me. I didn't carry it with me every day. If we were in mountain towns and I knew I was not going to use gouache, I didn't bring it with me. One of the things I love about it is it's low to the ground. Now, some people don't like that, but it allows it to be small. There. It's low to the ground, maybe 18 inches. But if it was longer, it'd probably take up more room. So I'm going to back up, get out of my chair, and adjust. There. Here's my stool. Just hold the front. I think it supports up to 250 pounds. I'd have to double check, but I don't weigh that much. Oops, sorry about the wiggle. Don't leave home without this next item. A shopping bag, not the giant one, but a medium-sized shopping bag. And you say, why would I want that? Well, first of all, it's coated. So if I'm sitting down and the ground is damp, then I can set things in it and they won't get wet. So if I'm painting with gouache, I am not going to wear my crossbody bag, but I do want to be able to get in to the supplies. So I'm going to set this in the bag facing up. So it's protected from what's around it. I'll put the cover for my stool in there as well. My journal, if it was in my pocket, I can set it in here while I'm getting set up. And look, it's all protected. I don't need to hold that in. I'm going to take my word for it. So, and okay, look. What I love, because I'm sitting low, is I can reach without any trouble. I can reach in there and get what I need. If I need a elegant writer, I can get my elegant writer. If I need a pipette, I can get my pipette. It's so convenient. So I like this bag. It's not, like I said, it's not too big, but it keeps my things convenient. This chair is a lot more comfortable than you think, but look. Okay, watch this. It swivels all the way around. It makes it easy, so if something draws your attention this way, you can just turn this way or this way and turn this way. I love it. I really do. Okay, so let me show you what I've set up for my gouache. This is a do-it-yourself thing, and I'm so glad I did. I could probably market it, but I don't know how. If you know somebody who could help me market something, let me know. This was from Walmart. It was in the spice section. You put spices in it, but it has a seal around it. So I put water in it, put that down and clamp it. I added a magnet on the bottom. You'll see why in a minute. Now, if I'm traveling, I've already had water in that. This is my gouache palette that I took with me. It has at least 16 colors, and then I squirted some convenience colors in the corners and on top of some of the other. This is the only palette of gouache I used while I was gone. I took 5 tubes of gouache and I never squirted out anything fresh. I just spritzed this before I knew I needed it, and I was able to paint from it. I didn't paint very thick, but it was all I needed. I'm going to just set it down for a minute. I do want this rubber band. It will be helpful. When I was deciding what I wanted to take, when I finally decided the size of sketchbook, because it fit in my crossbody purse, that was going to be the max of what I was going to take. So everything else I wanted to fit in here, and that eliminated a lot of weight, a lot of excess, a lot of choice. When you have fewer choices, you can get started faster. I really like that. Well, I had this portfolio that I had gotten. It comes with clear sleeves, and the clear sleeves are where I slid my gouache or my loose paintings until I put them in my journal. But when I started the trip, I had multimedia board, watercolor paper in here, and then I pulled it out and used it as I needed it. I also had some tan paper and some black paper. If it ever got to the point where I'd like to paint on that, I had it with me. Didn't end up using it. And then I had palette paper that I used sometimes. The olives that I showed you in the last video, or one of the previous videos, was painted from leftover colors off my palettes, because all of these can still be used. So I keep the leftover palettes because it's a great way to create neutral colors, neutral tints. And then I have two different sizes of index cards that I use for color testing at times. So I knew if I had my paper, I would take a piece of paper out, and I would, instead of taking a separate clipboard, I just would tape the paper that I was painting with on this on this plastic cover. So I didn't take rolls of tape, but I brought this. This is a business card, or it could be an old gift card that I just wrapped with masking tape and then wrapped with painter's tape. So I'm just going to show you how I would do it if I was there. I clipped these down because I didn't want them accidentally sliding out. So I'm just gonna get a smaller one, because I didn't even use an 5x7. The 5x5 was the largest that I used. So I'm gonna pull that out. I'm gonna continue to clip this. Sorry. If I don't clip it and it tilts, those will fall out. So now I've got the board I'm gonna use. Well, I need to stick it down because that's gonna slide off. I get my tape. It doesn't matter on multimedia artboard what you use, whether it's masking tape or painter's tape. All I want is enough that I can tape it to this board. Multimedia artboard is my favorite thing to paint with gouache. It's very thin, it's lightweight. You have a smoother or rougher side. I don't really have a preference. It's not my favorite for watercolor, but I really like it with gouache. And this is my gouache setup. So once I get at least 2 pieces of tape on there, I'll just set that down. And I want the opening away from me, and I'll show you why in just a second. These clips need to lay flat, or they'll be in the way. All right, so one of the things I brought is a bag of brushes, because when I'm working with gouache, the water brush that has a continuous flow of water is sometimes a little irritating because it adds more water than you need. So I tilt these up and wrap it like that. So I have a little stand for my brushes, and I put that in here so I can easily reach down and get what brush I want. Now, I want to have a place, or I need to have a place for my water and for my paint. And where am I going to mix the paint? This is what I had trouble with before I left. It's like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to do that? When I was using a large clipboard to hold it all, but that was too big for my purse and for my backpack, so I made this. This doesn't look very impressive. When I was editing this, I realized I had gotten off camera, so I'm showing you this part of my Gator board setup. It's 2 pieces of 3/16 inch Gator board cut 6 by 8 inches in size. So I took clear tape on the side I wanted it to have slack. Let me back up a little bit. Whoop. There we go. I closed it together, ran the tape across, smashed it really good on the sides so that when it opened up, it would lay flat. So I wanted slack on one side, and then I laid it down, ran a piece of clear tape here. I use the clear tape because it's thinner than duct tape, and duct tape I was afraid would be too fat for this to lay flat. So I was really pleased at how well that hinged and kept flat. And I'm gonna, my portfolio book will support that hinge, so I don't have to worry about too much weight here. This is the side that I added my Edge. You see that logo, Edge Pro? I have an Edge Pro easel that I really like, but this is a steel plate that came with it. And since I wasn't using my Edge Pro on this trip because I wanted more lightweight, I laid it down, taped it on both sides so that it would hinge out, and I left enough length, I thought, of board here to support it. So now I'll go back to my previously filmed video, but I love how compactly this packs. Add it in here. I have the rubber band around the water, and my water will go there because it has a magnet. And I use the rubber band twice around to help this stay secure so it doesn't just slip out. Okay, so right now that's pretty secure, wouldn't you think? Okay, then on these travel containers that I put my gouache in, sometimes, as you see, I mix the gouache in the lid, but I put magnets on the bottom, so that goes right there. So, and I mean, I'm happy. Ta-da! There's so that, and I can slide this further out if I want to. But what I ended up doing, originally I had all those sheets that I could mix colors in. So I would take one of those. I can get. Okay. So if I needed more space to mix, I could clip one of these here and mix on. But what I figured out when I was there this week is I can use the lid and this part of my portfolio page. I mean, it's plastic. So as I mix the colors, open the water, put it like that. So I can, I'd also adhere a clip, a paper towel. We'll go right there. But the fact that I can pick this whole thing up and set it down and work in my lap, it's very lightweight. I have multiple pages in here that I can use again, and whatever I paint here will go in those sleeves. I really like this setup. I don't know that I would want, I mean, I know some people love to stand and paint, and that's really better to keep you loose, but my knees and my back don't do well when I stand very long. So I would just rather sit and just get up every now and then and stretch, and that works better for me. I did travel with this in a Ziploc bag. I wasn't sure about any leakage, but it never did. It never did leak. So I was very happy. But I think this is a great setup that's lightweight, collapsible. Just putting things up the way they need to be. Slide this in here so I can use it again. If I painted a painting, then I would. One thing I like in this is I put some black sheets and some brown ones. So if the painting looked really good against black, sometimes I'd slide it in on the black side, or I'd slide it in on the brown side. But either way, it didn't really matter. But that was extra paper for me if I needed it. So I had it there until I knew that it would go in my journal. So that part, I think, is something that I will not change at all. And the rubber band can either stay around, that's trash, can either stay around the water container, or it can hold all this together. So probably will, since I'm about to put it up, let it hold everything together. I have a variety of brushes and one palette knife. So that part, I'll get rid of the tape. Oh, I usually always have a trash bag with me, but if not, put it in your bag here. You do not want to make any kind of, leave any kind of trace behind. So I lay these down. I wrap or fold it so it's not so loose. I usually put the clip on this to keep it in place. And I slide this like this. So this is gouache minus the paint, which you can put there, and a water container. Not bad. All right, my watercolor setup, I don't need any of this. If I'm just working with my watercolor, I leave this out where I can access my choice of watercolor, my pens, my brush, etc. And then I'm working in my journal. I open my journal to the next page that I'm going to use. This was the last one I completed, so I have my sheet that I folded to protect the page that I'm not going to be painting on. This would be the street scene that I'd be doing, so I'm going to be painting this direction or slightly sideways. Okay, so how do I set up my paints here? Well, I have two choices. First of all, I get out my little zip bag that holds all my stuff, and there's magnet clips, and I'll pick up a few sheets of paper, not the whole thing, but a few sheets, clip the magnets on. There's 3 magnets in here. And this is another one, you know, this is, again, my page is protected because my paper is over that. All right, so do I want to paint with a limited palette? That's my traditional limited palette, 3 primaries and burnt sienna, that would go there. Or I could paint with monochromatic, which is a purplish blue, black, and I can put that one here. Or I could paint with, oh, sorry, that was my convenience. My convenience colors, which is a form of the primary plus purple. And this is my traditional limited palette, primary plus burnt sienna. So when I have that, I have pretty much everything that I need. Another thing that I carry in my purse is paper towels that are folded up. I also use sweatbands if I want to be more environmentally conscientious. But I can use a paper towel over and over and over again. And this is one of those half paper towels that I have all folded up. So I don't want this to fly away or anything, so I just put that back in my purse. And I have 2 more clips. One is going to be for a paper towel. And this left-handed, sorry. Okay, so my paper towel's there. So I mix colors in the lids, wipe the brush off on the paper towel. So all I need when I'm painting with watercolor is my clips and my watercolor palettes. This was another watercolor palette that I made specifically for this trip. So if I'm not going to be using these little ones, let me put those up. I'll still use the clips. But this opens up so I can, I have a key on ones that I haven't used as much because I want to be able to see what those colors are and what they look like when they're not solid blocks of paint. No, I don't need this 3rd clip. I'll just use it to hold the paper towel. Put this one back up. So my watercolor setup is a lot faster. I have 0.05 microns. I have Uniball pens, just a couple of pens of different sizes. Mechanical pencils. I usually carry at least 2 brushes. They're the Pentel brush. They have a nice tip. So like right now, I might want to clean my lid. I might be needing some blue, pale blue. So if I need to clean it, I just wet it, wipe it off, reclip. But I have never lost watercolor, or I've never lost a paper towel because I've always have it clipped. And I have everything I need. You get your favorite drawing tools, your atomizer. You can spritz your paint before you paint so it's a little more awake. And you just paint in your lap. See? Now, if that's too flimsy for you, you can still use this just as an additional table. And then I would clip it to there. But I mean, even that gives you a little more security if you feel you need it. And you can pick it up with one hand. Ta-da! What do you think? Should I mark it? My foldable palette holder. What was wonderful is I felt I had everything I needed. And then some. Okay. Ask me questions. Let me know what you think. This was a tremendous palette. I made it myself, and I haven't filmed anything from this direction, so I hope this doesn't make you dizzy. I'll edit it and see how that works. But anyway, paint, protect your page. When you're finished, close it up, put it where it needs to be. I love this. Okay, I think that's all for today. Let me know if you learned anything. Let me know if I'm totally insane. And I can pick up my stool. Just pull it apart. Fold it back down. But there we go. Roll it up and put it in its bag. It is called Grand Trunk. They do have a taller version available, but it would weigh more, and I'd already spent enough on this one. I think it was close to $70, but it has a lifetime guarantee. And believe me, I'm going to use it for a long time. So, there we go. And if you don't want to put everything back, you can just carry it back to your car. Toodaloo. See you later.